This dude got backstabbed so hard. She absolutely ruined him. And now it is payback time. Noobs get zero respect here. Our main guy got roasted for being incredibly weak and couldn't even join a squad. Then this chick showed up. She claimed she was flying solo and called him her ideal match, heading out of town. She totally hyped him up, saying his armor gave off major knight energy. One sweet comment had bro planning their whole life. Kissing, a ring, a house, and a bunch of babies. But once they reached some hidden spot in the wild, she literally went straight for his heart, literally impaling him with her magic staff. While dying, he begged to know why she stole his basic gear. She just laughed, calling his inventory hot garbage. She totally trashed him, claiming only a broke loser wears such pathetic armor. After absolutely shredding his ego, she finished the kill, muttering about how much she hated pathetic scrubs. Slaying her 1000th noob unlocked a hidden game path. Boom. She just became Chrono Life's very first goddess. Flexing her new stats, she dipped out to finish some quest. Meanwhile, the dead guy gets hit with a massive punishment. Bro spawned back in town missing literally half of his stats and level progression. Sick of everyone treating him like a joke, Ju gambles it all on enhancing his awful beginner gear. He tests the blade, and it completely shatters. Raging, he risks his gauntlet hoping for a win. But that explodes too. A few blacksmith bangs later, Ju literally dusted his entire inventory without a single successful boost. His virtual journey was basically cooked, leaving him sobbing. Suddenly, a random branch dropped right next to him. It was a useless tutorial drop that everyone tosses immediately. Staring at it, his dark impulses totally took the wheel. He risked an upgrade, and it succeeded, adding one measly attack point. He swung the hammer again, and it passed. Annoyed by this sick joke, Joe kept enhancing the garbage stick until his arms completely gave out on the final swing. That stupid twig somehow hit the absolute maximum tier of plus 99. Shaking in pure shock, Joe fumbled and dropped the weapon. The moment it tapped the floor, the system registered a strike. Instantly, the craziest blast in human history went off. The sheer force practically cracked the entire globe in half. Gazing at the absolute wasteland, a massive wave of system alerts started spamming his vision. Bro crushed the one-shot elimination record. 850,617 players literally evaporated. Realizing he possessed the most overpowered glitch ever, Jiu vowed to obliterate his haters, especially that fake goddess chick. Joe is completely broke, lacking even the coins to grab a fresh fit. Strolling around, some random dude shoved him and started talking trash. Jiu muttered, "Your funeral," and swung a hit. Using his overpowered branch, the hater vaporized instantly, deleting a huge chunk of the town. The bystanders quickly figured out Jiu was the cause. Jiu felt unstoppable until a sudden warning flashed. His crazy weapon only had 3 out of 5 durability points left, just 3 more swings before it shatters entirely. He ducked into a dark alley to strategize, holding the sickest gear ever. But capped at 3 uses, he knew wasting it on petty payback was super dumb. Playing it smart, he planned to skyrocket his clout by wiping out the server's most terrifying monster instead. Pulling up to Death Valley, a massive screech echoes. It is Horus, the two-headed dragon and Chrono Life's ultimate raid boss. The beast tries flexing its insane aura, but right before it finishes its villain speech, a single smack blows off one of its heads, absolutely stunning the monster. Suddenly, Horus begs to negotiate, but Jiu ignores him. With his limited strikes, his only goal was deleting this beast fast to max out his level instantly. Another swing leaves the dragon completely brutalized. Jiu internally panics, knowing his god-tier twig is about to snap. Sensing a tiny window to live, Horus panics and pitches a crazy desperate deal. Annoyed and rushed, Jiu tells the monster to spit it out. The dragon introduces the concept of ego gear. If a massive spirit binds with an item, it transforms into an unbreakable, god-tier artifact with limitless hits. The catch? Joe must forge a soul bond with the beast. That way, Horus survives virtually inside the wooden branch. Bro agrees without hesitation. Instantly, Horus locks his spirit straight into the twig. Boom. The weapon evolved into an ego class with unlimited uses. Jiu's Savage Revenge arc is officially back on, because now, he can spam his broken damage without stressing. Meanwhile, the main hub is going completely insane. Bounties for Jiu are plastered literally everywhere. Catch him breathing or in a body bag, and you score a cool 1 billion gold coins. Things just got real, because the big guns showed up. Massive adventurer factions from every corner are stepping in to handle the drama. Chrono Life's top 5 clans just linked up. Their crazy overpowered bosses are all zeroing in on one massive objective. They need to wreck the dude who wiped out over 850,000 gamers in one go. He's a walking hazard that needs deleting. To spearhead this giant super team, they picked the ultimate legend, Arden, head of the Justice crew. With him calling the shots, the World Union faction officially drops a war declaration on Jiu. But guess what? That staff now holds endless energy, and Jiu is totally ready to spam it. So our boy is just chilling in the city, vibing, when something wild spooks him. A weird little monster randomly pops out of his weapon. It starts talking, proving it's actually his contracted twin-headed dragon, Urus. Honestly, Jiu finds this tiny form super adorable. Sucks that nobody else can spot the little guy. But plot twist, the good vibes aren't going to last much longer. He snatches a piece of paper wondering what's up, only to see his own bounty. The flyer leaves him shook, especially when he realizes tens of thousands more are spammed across every single brick in town. Meanwhile, Urus is hyping it up. The dragon claims it makes total sense since his bro literally deleted 800 dudes in one swing. A crazy flex the beast could never pull off. Plus, that 1 billion gold reward translates to 1 billion in actual cash, which is major flex territory. Jiu is super confused why a digital pet is dropping street slang, figuring that totally breaks the system guideline. Urus basically says who cares? He's a ghost anyway. Then he wonders what his big bro's game plan is, considering this insane price tag means gamers globally are about to swarm him for the kill. He pitches the idea of wiping out humanity completely. Glancing sideways, Joe recalls tossing his weapon down before locking eyes with the scattered flyers. Honestly though, he kinda digs the vibe. It straight up feels like he's hit absolute rock star status. He declares that given the current mess, it's time to rock the whole secret pro aesthetic. A clueless Urus asks for a translation. Our hero breaks it down. It means faking being trash when you're secretly totally overpowered. The pet wonders why anyone would play dumb, pointing out people would just treat him like a noob. Jiu smirks, telling the dragon he's missing the point and that trolling them is hilarious. He asks if Urus has skipped out on anime tropes. To the world, he's garbage. But really, he's the main character of this story. It's all about maxing out the fantasy dream. Right until a random projectile nails him. Urus freaks out. Jiu collapses, coughing up red pixels, hitting the dirt while his panic-stricken pet hovers around, screaming his name. Perched on a roof, an archer stalks him, gripping an ultra-rare neon blue bow, packed with matching ammo. He radios in a confirmed hit. Down at street level, the Royal Battalion rushes the fallen player, completely boxing him in. The sniper yells, "By the authority of the Alliance boss, strap up this absolute monster who slaughtered 800,000 innocents and toss him in the dungeon." The whole squad hypes up, totally locked in. A stressing Urus begs his big bro to shake it off and stand. These guys are trash individually, but getting jumped by a massive mob is bad news. Even with metal sticking out of his ribs, Jiu pushes himself up, staring down the brigade. The grunts start panicking that the target is moving. Zero breathing room. Rush him. The archer barks. Urus screams for his bro again, completely terrified. But Jiu totally scraps his undercover plan. He violently yanks the shaft from his body and tosses it down like garbage. Clenching his weapon, he mutters how he genuinely just wanted an NPC lifestyle. But these clowns practically begged for a beatdown. A crazy massive shockwave detonates, lighting up the whole server. One swing of his rod drops atomic-level damage. In a split second, the entire hit squad is instantly wiped out. The sniper chokes on dust, clinging to 1 HP. His brain short-circuits trying to process how his entire unit just got deleted. Trembling, he sees the main city is just gone. Then, boom, Jiu teleports directly into his personal space. The archer just freezes, sweating bullets. Stepping closer, the elf quickly grabs an unlimited portal sphere from his inventory. He smashes the item, triggering a glowing hex under his boots. While countless rifts tear open everywhere, the elf screams, "Squad up! Mass fast travel for the whole alliance." Now, tens of thousands of gamers start flooding through the gates, but Jiu just stands there, totally unbothered. The fresh wave of mobs boxes him in, unveiling the World Union's massive force. We're talking around 3 million players grouped up with one goal: taking down Jiu. Hawkeye points right at him, screaming, "Charge!" The whole mob instantly rushes forward together. Watching this colossal wave approach, Jiu just sighs heavily. He sweeps his stick sideways, effortlessly wiping out the front line in a single, smooth swing. Anyone caught in that blast is totally wiped off the map. Urus is left speechless as our boy whips his weapon the other way and jabs straight ahead, erasing another massive chunk of players. The dragon is flabbergasted, recalling how he seriously thought Jiu couldn't handle a combined assault. Like, it just made sense. Even a powerhouse like Urus couldn't survive millions of enemies simultaneously. These guys weren't noobs either. The World Union packed top-tier players from across the globe. Even if the dragon brought his whole squad, they'd probably get clapped. So backing off seemed like the only logical play. Yet, looking at this massacre, he knew his math was way off. Spotting a tiny gap, a bunch of fighters from the guild rush in with blades and poles ready. They dive at our guy, trying to skewer him, but he just taps his stick and deletes them instantly. Bam, another row is sliced clean through. Meanwhile, Abracadabra and her backup wizards are frantically casting something huge. Catching that vibe behind him, Ju spins around to spot a massive magical glyph lighting up the clouds. The head mage drops an ancient ruin hex, seriously meant to vaporize him on the spot. A gigantic energy blast rockets his way, and our hero just watches, looking kinda amazed. He mentally notes how sick that attack sounds, and figures he should probably brand his own moves too, so he flings his weapon skyward. That slash rips through literally everything, shooting straight into space. Awaken, he decides to name it. Both the fancy glyph and the deadly hex shatter completely. Totally shook. The wizard stammers out, wondering how her ultimate magic just broke. Her squad braces for orders, but Joe just flicks his pole up again. He dubs this one Assault. The slice clears out his frontal view, launching wizards everywhere. One guy versus 3 million wasn't a fight, it was a total bloodbath. The entire World Union faction got absolutely wrecked. The elf archer is down on his knees, sweating bullets. He's mumbling in denial right up until our hero steps up. Our guy explains he intentionally spared him, since holding back that much power was actually super tricky. The dude demands to know why he survived. Ju groans, dude, obviously because you shot that arrow earlier. The guy freaks out before catching a stick straight to the face. Naturally, this whole showdown blew up online, trending beyond just Chrono Life players. Even non-gamers couldn't stop talking about the clip. Crazy enough, his wooden weapon didn't even scratch. Ju checks it out, after knocking the archer out cold. The dragon praises him as an absolute beast, while our boy just asks where he'd been hiding. Out of nowhere, footsteps creep up. He spins around, locking eyes with a chick. Annoyed that enemies are still breathing, he's groaning about the hassle until her silhouette suddenly clicks in his head. They basically have a standoff in the ruined war zone, but the goddess of life just casually stares back. Pure rage hits him when her identity drops. Nobody saw this plot twist coming. She smirks, dropping a long time no see. Mr. Ho. The camera pans out to this massive field under a glowing sunset, totally littered with 3 million defeated players and dropped gear everywhere. Right dead center is this intense reunion. The aesthetic is honestly super cinematic. Flashbacks of her trashing his parents hit hard, making his fists shake. It's such a wild mood swing from his chill vibe earlier that he just busts out laughing. She casually asks about his life, calling their unexpected meetup total destiny. He calls cap on that, adding that her face alone screams bad news incoming. She just grins, teasing if she seriously gives off villain energy, holding back the urge to destroy her. He brings up a random detail instead, asking about the new hair color. She's thrilled he caught that, bragging how stealing his life unlocked her hidden class upgrade, which triggered the makeover. He just gives her the deadliest glare and sighs. Pointing his weapon, he mocks how she sacrificed 1,000 players for a life title, calling her the literal Reaper instead. The divine being chuckles, totally agreeing with that take. Bet, Ju shoots back. He instantly smashes his weapon down, blasting a massive shockwave straight at her, screaming that the joke is over, and now he is just gonna absolutely wreck her. She wonders if he is rushing things, right as the blast completely erupts, totally wrecking the wasteland. Ju just stares blankly into the dust. Bummer, her voice echoes. I was totally hoping to chat a bit more. Bam. She drops right behind his back. He whips around, slamming his pole down again, and the resulting boom completely shatters the ground ahead. Urus screams that the shot connected perfectly. Classic boss move, sliced her up easy. Ju smirks, claiming it was a given, since those soft-looking freaks are always pure yap. But as the dust clears out, he notices she has not even flinched. She just chills there quietly watching him. Just as I figured. You leveled up hardcore, she notes, but weak moves like that will not end me. Urus freaks out, begging his bro to look because she survived. And Ju snaps back that he knows. While those two bicker, the immortal just stands there smirking at them. Urus catches her staring and trips out, totally baffled because she is making direct eye contact with him. No way, how is anyone but boss seeing me right now? He yells. Ju nods, totally weirded out too. His hit was dead on, so her taking 0 damage is wild. She actually laughs, asking if some basic mortals seriously thought they could hurt divine royalty. Acting shocked, Jiu taps his weapon against his skull, muttering that he is super ticked off now. Then, he just books it straight at her. She stands there waiting as his crazy fast strike sets off another huge boom, giving her zero room to breathe. He swings again, totally nuking another chunk of the battlefield. He keeps spamming attacks without chilling, literally breaking the world apart. Urus is totally hyped, amazed that the whole continent is shaking and about to be wiped out. But she just tells him to drop it. Still grinning, she pops out her wings and hovers right over our guy's head. Urus looks stunned while sweat drips down Jiu, who is looking super gassed. Those divine wings melt into glowing feathers drifting everywhere. Stepping closer, she wonders what Mr. Hao is planning next, guessing he was probably pumped, obsessing non-stop about taking her out. She tells him to quit trying, since no amount of grinding will ever let him actually end her. She doubles down while stepping super close. He just stares for a sec, shuts his eyes, and lets out a heavy sigh. Then he spins and backs up a bit. The divine girl asks where he is heading and if he finally folded. The dude just responds by casually swishing his weapon around. He claims he was just testing his swing power, wondering if he could legit break the thing in half. She claps back that it is pointless, and he is never going to be able to finish her off. But the guy hits back that he wasn't aiming at her, but the literal globe. She looks totally shook. He lays it out. If he can't beat her, he is just blowing up the world. She will either get vaporized or launched straight into deep space. She stares at him like he is crazy, asking if a basic dude could even pull that off. The guy says yep, promising to drop his absolute max damage right now. He brags about doing the same thing earlier without even going all out. Her face instantly drops. She fires back that blowing up the world means taking himself out too, making it a totally dumb self-destruct move instead of payback. She asks if he is seriously cool with going out like that. Jiu, having literally died to figure this out, starts cracking up over how the game actually works. It is straight up survival of the fittest. Then he tells her to pay close attention because school is in session. Snobs like her are totally clueless. Lifting his weapon, he drops the mic. Never cross a guy with zero things left to lose. She starts panicking and tells him to chill, but he just full sends his swing. The second he makes contact, everything instantly crumbles. Both of them get sucked into the shockwave, while our guy keeps this super creepy grin. The whole zone splinters into 6 chunks, tearing the globe apart just like that before popping off into a literal supernova. The insane fallout crashes the entire Chrono Life server system, wiping out everything from that single maxed out hit. Glitchy code strings start rushing down the monitor. Back in reality, some staff dude is totally snoozing on the job inside a gaming lounge full of virtual reality pods. Out of nowhere, a gamer rages super hard after getting booted from Chrono Life. He is fuming over the random disconnect right before the final boss fight. The rest of the gamers instantly start freaking out over the massive glitch. They aggressively grill the cafe worker, accusing him of illegally pulling the main power plug. Wide awake now, the worker begs everyone to chill, swearing the power grid is perfectly fine. Some dude guesses the developer's servers just straight up died. Right on cue, another guy yells that a fresh update just dropped on the official website. The post admits the game is completely busted, with literally zero estimated time for when they will be back online. Everyone is completely shook that a crash like this actually happened. But plot twist, one dude is somehow still logged in. His gaming rig glows active despite the global blackout. Meanwhile, his in-game display flashes a weird sync alert. The software stealth patches to version 1.7 and scans for anyone else currently online. Player count: literally 1. Our guy Jiu is just chilling in a blank void filled with glowing, floating code. Totally lost. He wonders how his gaming session turned into this. Out of nowhere, some random voice drops the name ST389. The unseen speaker casually flexes that it is the exact world he just blew into tiny pieces. Apparently, it was the absolute prettiest spot in Universe 4, and ironically, their mom's ultimate favorite place. Shocked, Jiu spins around and demands answers. This creepy blonde dude tells him to zip it, smirking like a total psycho, before claiming to be the almighty. Our main guy just gives him a massive eye roll and lets out a heavy sigh. Cool story, bro. Do not care. Jiu brushes him off entirely. Anyway, did you happen to spot a dark-haired girl passing through here? The supposed deity insists they are totally alone. Right on cue, a pop-up window proves the total player count is literally just 1. Are you literally insane? The so-called creator snaps back. You just flat-out massacred everybody. Obviously, nobody is walking away from a massive blast like that. Every single breathing thing just got completely erased. Jiu just cracks up, totally baffling the divine dude. He starts cackling out loud, screaming that his epic payback is finally finished. He is literally hyped beyond belief. This was his entire reason for grinding. "Yo, Urus, pull up. We got our payback," he yells out. Dead silence. Absolutely nothing spawns. Frustrated, Ju smashes his weapon down, aggressively demanding his pet dragon to show up. "Bro, I literally just said we are completely alone," the blonde repeats. "Do not hold your breath, waiting for that kid to show up." Our hero squints suspiciously at him. "If the active player count is exactly 1, what is your deal? Are you some glitchy bot? Or a dev?" "Wrong on both," he answers. But before he can spill the tea, reality itself glitches out, and massive static completely mutes him. He groans out loud, super annoyed that outside forces are already trying to crash their private party. A crazy bright beam hits Ju right in the face. "Major bummer it got cut short, but cool meeting you," the glowing entity says. "Peace out. Give the little fluffy guy my best." "Hold up," Ju yells, totally startled, but a digital flashbang wipes his vision, and the guy blips out. Then the game crashes hard, kicking him offline entirely. Back in the gaming lounge, his pod is the only one humming. The doors pop open with a mechanical swoosh, showing the actual guy inside. He aggressively rips off his headset. "You have got to be kidding me. Why did that weirdo have to spawn exactly at that second?" he muttered, clearly super annoyed. And what was his whole deal about some random fluffy pet? Suddenly, he catches some blonde dude chomping a cigar and just staring holes into him. The guy walks right up and starts casually doxing his real-life info. Lai Jiwoo, age 21. "You have been grinding this exact game for 3 whole months, specifically maining that absolutely broken level 99 staff." "Spot on," Ju snaps right back, immediately demanding to know who this creepy stalker actually is. The guy whips off his shades and smirks. "I am the guy who is taking your weapon." Ju quickly tries to process the sheer madness of his current situation. Bro is literally just a normal university student obsessed with VR games. Like, 5 minutes ago, he was still a total noob, but thanks to insane luck, he crafted a maxed-out god weapon. He used it to totally wreck all his haters, plus his highly toxic ex-girlfriend. Right after that, some random boss calling himself the creator randomly popped in and immediately dipped, and now? He is trapped in a diner cornered by bodyguards. The weird blonde is absolutely destroying his food while Ju just stares in utter disbelief. "Dig in," the guy mumbles. "The chef here is absolutely top tier." Ju nods slowly, his brain literally screaming about how insane this all is. The dude casually shares that this exact soup joint was his daily go-to spot back when he was completely dirt poor. 15 years back, he flexes casually. "I launched my entire tech brand right when the game's alpha version started." Suddenly, everything clicks perfectly. Ju's mind is completely blown. No way. The blonde guy finally drops his actual real name. "I am the head of the whole game studio, Choi Diobe." "Dude, I totally thought you were mobsters," Ju blurts out. "So, who are all the guys in suits?" "Literally just my staff, 3D artists, sound guys, and the promo team," the executive casually shoots back. Actually, a whole mob of freaky monsters had her boxed in, and she was totally paralyzed with fear. The beasts unhinged their jaws, let out massive shrieks, and sprinted straight for her, closing the gap fast. Hyun braced for impact, but Ju randomly teleported right in front of her, totally questioning his own life choices. With a casual swing of his staff, he unleashed a crazy blast that literally wiped everything in front of him off the map. When the smoke finally cleared, Hyun peeked out from under her arms and locked eyes directly with our main guy. Right above his head, the sky was perfectly blue without a single cloud in sight. Ju mentally debated if he stepped in out of pure pity or teamwork, but nah, he honestly just did it for the vibes. Riding that high, he flashed the girl a smirk, which honestly just left her looking totally baffled. Our hero strolled up, admitting to himself that this whole mess was super chaotic. And boom, that was our intro. He pitched teaming up, but she instantly told him to shove off, spat on the dirt, and flat out refused to carry a total noob. Ju just stood there looking clueless, realizing this was definitely not the smooth introduction he had planned. Cut to the streets of Seoul, where everyone was just doing their normal daily routines, completely glued to their screens. The whole internet was blowing up over this one crazy viral moment that everyone was officially dubbing Judgment Day. Toxic forums were going absolutely wild worldwide. Everyone was dying to know which insane gamer just wiped out 800,000 players. Like, was this guy some sort of legendary combat deity reigning supreme over the entire Chrono Life universe? But some random dude online completely called cap, arguing that nobody could be that cracked without abusing glitches or dirty hacks. Honestly, that take made total sense. Like, Taking on 3 million enemies solo is just completely illogical. You literally cannot survive those ridiculous odds with pure mechanical skill and maxed out stats alone. The player base was screaming for a permanent ban, begging the devs to actually do their jobs. The entire fandom was practically holding its breath. And then, the highly anticipated official statement finally dropped. While salty gamers were literally ready to cancel the guy, the developers straight up confirmed he was just a regular player. Their logs proved zero hacks or exploited glitches. That massive plot twist left the entire community totally speechless, instantly killing the drama. You could hear random people whispering about the epic gaming scandal on literally every street corner. That absolute legend literally crashed the game server solo. Word on the street was he obliterated massive crowds instantly, making him viral gossip. Fans were obsessing over his real-life identity, since the only leaked screenshot showed him rocking an edgy hood that hid his face. Back in the game, our boy was grinning while trailing behind the girl he just rescued, with nothing but awkward footsteps filling the dead silence. Looking absolutely annoyed, Keon slammed on the brakes, spun around, and totally confronted her stalker. "Dude, why are you tailing me?" He chilled her out by suggesting they team up, but she snapped back. "Like I ever agreed to that?" She told him to go grind with some other broke creep. Honestly, the insult went completely over his head. Pointing at his awful fit, she roasted him for rocking literally just underwear beneath a sketchy cape and holding a pathetic level 1 starter twig. "I'm way too busy to babysit a total scrub. Back off." Jiu felt super offended, thinking, "Creepy? Bro, I literally just saved your life." He completely vaporized those beasts with one hit. Meanwhile, Urus chimed in telepathically, admitting he had watched the entire embarrassing interaction unfold. The girl had her eyes squeezed shut during the rescue. It suddenly clicked for him. Oh wow, she literally has zero clue I'm overpowered. A sneaky smirk crept onto his face as he decided to go totally undercover. He sprinted after her, begging, "Hey, wait, ma'am, please carry me." She shot him a super weirded out glare. Leaning into his act, he whined, "I swear I'm absolutely clueless about how this game even works. I'm just a useless noob. Be my master and boost me." Hearing someone actually call her master instantly gave her a massive ego trip, flashing back to how her toxic ex-party leader used to trash talk her. Getting that crazy respect now made her bounce with obvious hype. The dragon asked what on earth his partner was plotting. Muttering under his breath, our guy explained that playing the pathetic victim was phase 1 of his epic scheme. His scaly companion finally recalled that crazy strategy they discussed earlier. Trying desperately to act like a boss, Keon dramatically cleared her throat. "This is super cringe, but whatever. I guess high levels are supposed to babysit beginners," she bragged, officially sending him a squad invite. "Your new pro coach will carry you, but only this once." Honestly, she was just a level 24 brawler who foolishly dumped all her skill points into pure strength. Hanging around the beginner village dungeon gate, Keon launched herself straight at some weirdly screeching monster. She clocked the beast with a brutal hook, causing the pathetic level 4 rabbit bear to cough up blood and go flying across the dirt. Before she could even flex, a second mob tried to ambush her from behind, but she styled on it with a super quick backflip, catching her breath mid-air. She pulled off a sick acrobatic spin. The stunned rabbit bear could only watch as she dropped down to deliver a devastating kick. She unleashed her fallen dragon stomp, absolutely wrecking that monster straight into the dirt. The rest of the rabbit bears looked totally lost before crowding around her. Keon just held her ground, flexing on them to bring it all on. Ju chilled on the floor, watching the whole thing play out, thinking to himself that she was seriously cracked at fighting. Urus totally backed his master up on that. Still, our guy pointed out that getting swarmed by low-tier mobs is super sketchy, but Urus brushed it off, saying her loadout was absolutely insane. Her weapon alone cost around 10 million gold. Jiu practically screamed, realizing that equaled 10 million won in real life. Urus bragged that her entire kit was top tier, easily costing around 100 million. Jiu was mind-blown trying to figure out how a total noob afforded that. The dragon casually admitted she was a massive pay-to-win whale. Jiu recalled Keon raging about how those idiots were totally blind to her god-tier loot, especially since she dropped serious cash on this game. He questioned if she actually swiped her card that hard, since blowing 100 million just felt incredibly extra. All of a sudden, Keon spun around and yelled that even though she was hard carrying, he couldn't just sit away from keyboard on the sidelines. She told him to start swinging his stick. Jiu was clueless, but she pushed him to step up and grind his own stats if he wanted to level up. Right as she called him a total scrub, a sneaky rabbit bear lunged at her back. She kept roasting him for having zero gamer drive, completely clueless about the monster right behind her. But Ju just tapped the beast with his staff, instantly deleting it from existence, like it was nothing. Hyun glanced over, super confused, asking why a random gust of wind just blew through the dungeon. While she questioned it, Ju internally panicked, realizing he was totally busted because he sucked at hiding his OP stats. Right then, Hyun got pinged with a message demanding she log out as soon as possible, warning that something was kicking off in 10 minutes. She read the text and sighed hard, letting Joe know she had to dip for about 30 minutes and that he should keep grinding mobs. Ju was so confused by her vibe, wondering why she just randomly bailed whenever she wanted. He caught himself wondering what her real-life job was to comfortably blow 100 million on gaming. Urus had no clue either, but guessed she was probably a massive nepo baby. The camera then cut to this ridiculously fancy high-rise. Inside a bedroom, Hyun was chilling on her back, completely strapped into her virtual reality rig. She logged out of Chrono Life, dragged herself out of bed with a sigh, and just stared at her headset, zoning out over the whole session. She smirked a little thinking about our main guy. Right before her door slammed open, and her producer charged in, screaming if she was crazy. The producer went off, furious that she was still gaming and yelling that she was practically begging to get fired. Hyun snapped right back, shouting that she was literally taking the headset off and telling her manager to chill out and look. But she just got roasted for being a total gaming addict. Her boss then barked at her to sit down immediately because they had under 10 minutes left. The scolding kept coming, mostly because Hyun had been wearing her glasses under the virtual reality gear again. She dragged her for forgetting the #1 rule of not wearing frames in virtual reality, since it leaves those annoying red dents on her nose. Hyun defended herself, saying her anxiety spikes without her glasses and that a little foundation could easily cover the marks anyway. Her manager hit her with a massive glare, sighed heavily, and complained about the hassle while forcing her into a chair. Honestly, she probably would have choked her out if there wasn't so much cash on the line. With the cosmetics ready to go, the producer snatched Hyun's glasses away and frantically started getting her ready for the spotlight. Hyun pulled her scrunchie out, letting her hair cascade down. Cut to a massive music show stage where the hype man was screaming into the mic. He hyped up the incredibly patient crowd, hyping up the fact that this was the ultimate finale for the music broadcast. She had literally dominated the #1 spot for 13 straight weeks, introducing the absolute biggest pop star and top-tier songwriter of the era, the iconic Han Sarang. Stepping up, Sarang launched into a track about her first heartbreak. After her set, she gave the crowd her classic intro. Sure, Han Sarang was a globally adored pop idol, but secretly, her ultimate obsession was hardcore online gaming. Meanwhile, back in the digital dungeon, those rabbit bears were full sprinting straight for our guy. Ju figured he should run some warm-ups before she logged back in. Urus was super curious about what exactly he planned on doing. Our hero explained that to properly fake being a noob, he had to nerf his own skills. Basically, he wanted to practice dealing damage without one-shotting everything. A visual of a completely insane, planet-sized explosion flashed across the screen. Some literal god was just chilling and smiling at the chaos, joking that trying not to accidentally delete your enemies sounded like top-tier entertainment. He glanced at this cosmic mother figure, glowing with a giant sun behind her, asking for her take. Oh, and by the way, Han Sarang was literally just a high school sophomore. She had debuted super young in the music scene and went through a genuinely brutal flop era at the very beginning. These days, she's basically the music industry's ultimate pop queen. An interviewer totally fanboys over Sarang, hyping up her crazy 14 consecutive #1 wins. He gushes over her heartbreaking Little Mermaid-inspired debut track, begging to know her secret formula for writing such deep, emotional bops. Sarang plays the shy homebody card, claiming she just chills indoors reading aesthetic poetry books and cute fairy tales. The host totally buys it, agreeing that perfectly explains the track's vibe. She playfully adds how her manager tried to keep her fairy tale obsession a secret, thinking it was way too cringe and immature. The interviewer and the whole crowd totally fall for her sweet vibe. He thinks it is super fascinating, and she drops a sweet thank you. Meanwhile, her manager watches offstage, fuming that this little scammer is totally gaslighting the whole nation with pure fiction. Her actual toxic trait that fans have zero clue about? She's a hardcore gamer. Back on camera, the host brings up her hyped acting career, mentioning her iconic recent role as a super bratty high schooler. Sarang nods, pretending she struggled massively with the script because she supposedly never dropped a single swear word ever. But in-game, she's an absolute menace, straight up flaming Ju as a scrub. She roasts him for ignoring his returning boss. When a confused Ju questions this sudden hierarchy, She snaps that it starts right now. She dares him to talk back, threatening to stop carrying his useless character, making him backtrack real quick. Basically, gaming is her ultimate therapy for venting all that stressful idle energy. Urus tells his bro to just ditch the toxic girl, but Ju whispers back that he has to stay undercover as an absolute noob. Sarang then commands him to literally chant "My gorgeous queen." She makes him say it endlessly, while Urus silently celebrates his genius plan. Heading toward the raid, she pauses to grill him on mob grinding. Ju lets out a heavy breath, claiming it's a super tedious grind, and he's still miles away from leveling up. Urus rages that spamming zero damage attacks is completely pointless. Our boy just tells him to zip it. Sarang giggles, calling him a weirdly funny rookie while buzzing with excitement. Then it hits her that she's clueless about his username, demanding to know what Underwear Boy actually calls himself. Shocked, because he swore he already dropped his tag. Ju opens his mouth to answer, but the gamer girl cuts him off, declaring she's sticking with boxers. She smirks, totally loving the vibe. Annoyed, our guy mutters why she even bothered asking. Meanwhile, shady stalkers are scoping them out, with a bearded dude confirming the target. His lackey asks for orders, and the boss commands everyone to group up inside the instance for some epic revenge. Ahead, a freaky bunny bear hybrid suddenly spawns. The level 22 beast charges her. She barks at boxers to tank it, and he instantly acts like an obedient dog, rushing the creep screaming. He plays the total noob, rushing in like a bot. He awkwardly pokes his weapon out, just barely grazing a single strand of its fur. Bam! The creature takes massive damage, its skull completely smashed in. Utterly clueless, the mob faceplants hard, but miraculously, its health bar glitches right before zero, leaving exactly 1 hit point left. Ju secretly smiles at the surviving mob, hyped that his pacifist trick actually worked. Sarang cheers wildly, gushing that his first try clear means he's leveling up fast. Suddenly, a throwing knife zips right at her. Sensing the ambush, she yanks her duo backward to dodge, absolutely styling on the projectile with a roundhouse kick. Scowling, the bearded stalker snatches his weapon midair, sarcastically praising her reflexes while claiming her overpowered loot did all the work. Sarang instantly claps back, demanding his identity. Mr. Kim fakes a broken heart over her, forgetting him, proudly announcing his whole squad represents the Hallison clan. Disgusted, she drops their clan name like poison. Mr. Kim just smirks, teasing about their reunion and demanding to know their little scheme. He signals his boys to jump them. She yells at her teammate to stay back, instantly dropping into a combat stance. The rogue players rush them, blades fully drawn out. Moving like lightning, she perfectly boots a guy in the face, one-shotting him instantly. Then she literally uses his falling body to parkour flip. She screams out her epic finisher, Fallen Dragon Stomp, smashing the dirt so hard it triggers a shockwave, blasting everyone backward. The furious boss screams for a group wipe. Watching the chaos, Ju asks what's going on, and Urus admits he's completely clueless. Our hero looks at the mess and totally calls it. He figures those Hallison creeps keep beefing with Sarang, and shocker, they get completely wrecked every single time. Looks like that dude is totally clueless and crawled back for payback. Ju realizes they are straight up garbage, a bunch of level 20 scrubs getting absolutely floored by her. Urus totally backs him up. While the brawl drags on, Kim smirks that things are going perfectly. While Sarang looks away, he cues the other chick to make her move. Another girl practically teleports, blurring right behind Sarang and aiming her sharp claws straight at her. Sarang spins around, shocked. Seeing the attacker has 0 weapons, she guesses the chick is a brawler. Then, the enemy triggers her steal ability. A crazy flash blinds everyone for a sec. When Sarang blinks it away, she totally flips out. Her combat gauntlets are gone. The bandit bragged about how sick the gear was. Sweetie here must be crazy rich to rock these sweet silencing gauntlets. Ju asks what that busted move was, and Iris says it is a classic rogue steal. Still, he thinks it is super weird since that ability shouldn't be so broken. Ju just shrugs it off, totally unbothered since he is broke anyway. Literally all he is rocking is a cloak and some boxers. Then it hits him, his staff. He shoots a look sideways, looking absolutely terrified. He instantly jumps up and sprints away, screaming his lungs out. Kim casually notices the extra guy hanging around but totally blows him off. One look screams absolute noob with 0 cool loot. Seeing Ju scramble backward just hyped the bandit up. Tossing the gauntlets to Kim, she jokes that robbing a totally broke loser is actually way more hilarious. Blinking right in front of him, she calls him sweetie and teases about where he is running. Freaking out as she targets him, Ju decides to stop playing dumb. He grabs his weapon and tries a fast strike, but absolutely nothing happens. Literally everyone is shook, even Uru. As the dust settles, Joe is just standing there staring totally unarmed. The chick casually flexes that his staff belongs to her now, making him sweat bullets. She jokes about swiping his cloak next, teasing that he will be left in nothing but his boxers. All of a sudden, a massive shadow creeps over her face, leaving her totally confused. Then Urus flashes his terrifying real form. The monster growls, demanding to know how some basic human dares to touch him without a clue. Shaking like a leaf, the chick completely collapses and drops the weapon right near him. Ju just stares at his gear before quickly snagging it. A system pop-up confirms that Urus totally rejects the enemy, locking the hero in as the one true boss. Urus pops out of the weapon, furious that anyone tried to claim him. He snaps that only Hunjim gets to hold him. Looks like the bandit totally played herself. Ju gives the dragon a quick head pat, totally embarrassing the beast. The bandit coughs and scrambles backward, shivering and completely clueless about what just went down. She panics, wondering if it was a ghost. No way. It felt way too solid. Kim yells, asking what her deal is and if she forgot the mission. The girl gets up, snapping back that she is a total pro who is only in it for the cash. Right then, Sarang charges in screaming and tries to roundhouse the chick. Hand over my gear, you rat. The bandit easily sidesteps, laughing about the scary jump scare. But you are looking in the wrong spot. Your stuff is right over there. Watching this play out, Kim grins and tightens his grip. Sarang loses it, calling them total scum and swearing to end them, but she instantly passes out when Ju taps her. He casually mentions it is just his special move, the non-lethal knockout. The confused bandit asks what his deal is, and if they were actually teaming up. Our guy just drops that he was totally holding back. She yells, "What kind of crazy talk is that?" But before she finishes, he completely blasts her with massive energy. In a blink, the whole assassin crew gets absolutely wiped. The girl is completely shook and asks if he really pulled that off. Ju just bonks her on the head with his staff and says, "Yep." The bandit sees her health instantly tanked to 1 bar. Ju pops his non-lethal move again, bragging that all his crazy trauma made his mindset totally bulletproof. But seriously, you almost gave me a literal heart attack trying to swipe my staff just now. His energy goes supernova, wrecking the whole zone. Sarang suddenly snaps awake in the middle of nowhere, super dazed and completely freaked out by the wild scene. Peeking from behind a tree, Ju checks if she's finally up. Startled, she calls him Panty Boy, demanding to know their location and where those creeps went. Ju tells her they're chilling by the dungeon and the coast is totally clear. Wait, what? And how did I randomly pass out? She asks. Right then, Sarang spots the gauntlets back in her grip. Seeing her gear return, Ju asks if the Hallison Guild was involved, digging for tea on who they actually are and what their whole deal is. Her cheeks turn red, confused as to why he's acting so sweet, and asking if he secretly has a death wish. Letting out a grinning sigh, she agrees to spill the tea since she dragged him into this mess, asking if he knows about pay-to-win gamers. Ju is completely clueless. Urus chimes in, saying it's just popular gamer slang. Our main guy wonders how a literal non-playable character knows this stuff, to which Urus casually claims he read it on Wikipedia. He starts reading the exact web definition, but Sarang cuts him off to dumb it down. It basically means players dropping billions of cash just to flex in-game. Ju asks if the Hallison squad fits that vibe, and she totally agrees, calling them massive whales. She mentions snagging those gauntlets randomly at an auction months ago, which sparked the Hallison crew to relentlessly hunt her down for them. But honestly, they're just washed-up boomers with garbage skills, so I absolutely wrecked them every single time. Anyway, how did you recover these? Did you rob them? Ju shrugs, explaining the guys literally just ditched the weapons and dipped. Guess they completely forgot about them. She admits she's clueless about what went down, but swears they'll return because that psycho geezer is super obsessed. Finding it super weird, Ju wonders why they're so thirsty for her specific gear. Sarang thinks it's painfully obvious since the items are worth 10 million gold. But our hero argues that's exactly why it's suspicious. Dudes blowing billions over a 10 million gold item makes zero sense. There has to be some hidden lore here. Cut to the Hallison base later on, where a heavily injured Kim is painting the walls red, collapsing right before his boss. He cries and pleads for a redo, only to get told to shut his trap for being absolute trash. The boss refuses to waste another second, handing the entire operation over to the 4 heavenly kings. Glancing sideways, Kim watches 3 figures roll up to face their head honcho. The second king scoffs, saying it's wild a dude with only 100 million gold is even in their elite squad. Then, the third king points out that this is exactly why they wanted to boot little Kim out forever, blaming the great Hyang Nim for being way too much of a softie. While the first king stays quiet, The second one crouches beside Kim, mocking his lame choice to hire a mercenary as the sole reason he totally flopped. But the first king steps in, claiming he'll handle the drama himself. Running a hand through his hair, he drops that the silencing gauntlet trick activates in exactly 12 hours. Catching that update, the boss totally loses it, cackling wildly and bragging about being Lord King with a massive 12 billion net worth. He hypes up his crew to unleash pure nightmare fuel on their enemies. The ultimate bloodbath is officially on. Out of nowhere, Ju spawns right in their headquarters, just casually picking his nose while everyone stares in pure shock. Ju shatters the quiet by laughing at them, calling them edgy toddlers for hyping up a bloodbath. He roasts the 4 heavenly kings right to their faces, making the boss furious enough to demand his identity. Acting completely unbothered, Ju tells them to guess and straight up digs for gold in his nose again. He mentally notes that playing dumb and hiding his insane stats is going to be impossible if they keep harassing Sarong. Cracking up again, he heavily roasts their cringe titles and promises to wrap this fight up instantly. Groaning in pure rage, the king calls him an absolute psycho and orders the minions to end him. The goons rush him, charging up their strongest moves and closing the gap insanely fast. Unfazed and smirking, Ju casually swats his staff, dropping a massive shockwave that instantly wipes the whole squad. A literal stick absolutely destroyed them. At the same time, some girl is skipping toward the building, humming a happy tune. Back inside, the first king lunges at Jiu but gets totally laid out by one basic whack, coughing up literal blood. Boom! A massive explosion randomly rips the whole building apart. The approaching chick, who's actually the goddess of life, jumps slightly, but instantly breaks into a huge smile the second she figures out who caused the chaos. Their boss, the Lord King, started screaming at whatever was left of the Hallison crew to rush him all at once. Ju just let out a heavy sigh and tightened his grip on his weapon. He casually dropped that they'd need a minimum of 3 million players to even scratch him. Then, he just flicked his stick, slamming it right into an assassin's face and triggering a massive sky-high explosion. Smirking, Ju casually swiped his little branch to the right, totally wiping out everyone in the zone. The king just stared, his face totally pale, absolutely shook by the absolute carnage unfolding. Scrambling to his feet, Kim started yelling at his older bro to get the heck out of there before he got completely vaporized. But the boss knew Kim was clueless. Aside from his core crew, every single person in their squad was a hardcore pay-to-win whale. Even the lowest-ranking newbies had dropped 10 million bucks minimum. Not even the server's top 5 alliances dared to mess with them. So who the heck was this dude? And how was he pulling this off? It suddenly hit the king like a truck. They were totally screwed. He realized this had to be that legendary player from the forums. His jaw hit the floor in pure panic as he recognized the infamous underwear guy with the stick. He got into gaming way back in 2nd grade. Games were super basic back then, nothing like today's insane graphics, and grinding was pure torture without fancy quests or massive raids. But honestly, it was peak entertainment for 9-year-old Wang, even when his folks busted him for playing way past his bedtime. Those late-night grinding sessions with his bros were core memories. But life happened. He grew up, and adulting totally stole his free time, leaving no room for gaming nostalgia. Fast forward to out of nowhere, he blinked and was suddenly a 40-something corporate big shot named CEO Wang, chilling in his super fancy office setup. One of his workers walked in, calling him boss, and mentioned he'd finally tracked down that retro monitor he wanted. Wang just wanted to treat himself to a little blast from the past since he'd been hustling nonstop. His employee was super confused why he'd play a modern MMO on a dinosaur PC instead of a high-end rig. Wang just told him it was all about the vibe. His pulse was going crazy, like he'd literally time traveled. It seriously felt like reuniting with your high school crush, but he clenched his jaw when reality set in. He wasn't the only thing that had glowed up and changed over the years. Ju casually smacked another lackey with his stick, bodying him straight into the dirt. The whole map started shaking violently, and the king just stood there paralyzed, absolutely freaking out at the mess in front of him. Ju bragged that it was basically game over since only 2 scrubs were left standing. The king couldn't even speak as the absolute unit walked up to him. It was totally wrap-up time for the credit card warriors. He seriously couldn't grasp why these supposedly elite snobs were out here looting normal players' drops. Time to teach this boomer a lesson. The king suddenly flashed back to intensely mashing his keyboard until his 12 billion won transaction finally went through. Wang kept telling himself that the passing years had messed with everyone, not just him. Grinding was pointless now. Just swipe the credit card a few times to get crazy overpowered, totally wrecking all the free-to-play guys in the process. Swiping to win was basically the entire gaming meta right now. Wang pushed away from his desk, He tried testing out a bunch of different MMOs, but they were all massive copy-pastes. Until he found it, the absolute masterpiece, Chrono Life, where he was dead set on rediscovering that raw passion he'd lost ages ago. That pure hype from his childhood days, bam. The wooden branch whipped right into his skull. Jiu toggled his non-lethal attack mode. Wang coughed up some blood and instantly hit the deck, totally wrecked. Kim started screaming for his boss. Jiu just loudly declared that the Halcyon crew was officially dead as of right now. He told them they were super annoying and to keep their hands off Captain Amor. Muttering a quick catch ya never, he just casually walked off. Wang struggled to pick himself up, his mind blown over whether this was actually the same dude, the exact same absolute beast, who recently soloed the top 5 alliances and dusted 3 million world-class players. Jiu just glanced back, totally silent. Wang just cracked up, begging to know how much cash the guy dropped, assuming he had to be a massive whale to get that broken. But pretty soon, he'd find out that all his intense swiping was just chasing a totally fake dream. From way back, Kim kept his eyes on his big bro. Jiu shrugged, claiming he had zero clue what the guy meant, but flexed that he did actually drop some serious cash. Wang instantly demanded to know the exact amount, fully expecting some insane flex like tens or hundreds of billions of won. But the main guy just deadpanned that he blew 55,000 won on a basic beginner's bundle. Wang was absolutely gagged, completely unable to form words as the guy just kept strolling away. A crazy smirk crept onto Wang's face as he mumbled the number 55,000 won. It instantly teleported his brain back to the good old days of grinding Ragnarok as a kid. He flexed that grinding to max tier without picking a job was crazy impressive. Urus just stared, asking if bro straight up forgot to choose a role. Jiu shot that down, dropping the lore that his real dream was becoming a lawyer. Right then, the hidden requirements clicked, and his epic class upgrade kicked off. Blinding lights wrapped around him while glowing orbs popped up out of nowhere. A sword icon instantly formed from one orb and blitzed right into his chest. The blade spirit fused with him, followed immediately by a bunch more weapon orbs spawning in. Spirits of shields, bows, magic sticks, brawler gloves, and spears literally started spamming their way into his core. With every single weapon spirit absorbed, massive energy surged through him while a screen flashed, confirming his insane upgrade. Our guy was officially a maxed out beginner. His special perk? The game refunded all his stat points and multiplied them by 3. His stat screen went wild right after. Everything reset to 5, dropping a whopping 15,000 free points into his lap. Urus broke down. 14,985 points? Bro, what is going on? Did this upgrade seriously do all that? Jiu joked if the stats were crazier than his hidden role, which the dragon totally agreed with. You usually get 5 per level, not 15,000. Compared to literally any other top-tier player, your base stats are straight up tripled. It is absolutely insane. Gamers will literally talk about this flex for the rest of time, completely ignoring his buddy. Jiu checked the screen. He smirked like a total villain and just started spam clicking every single point into one category. Bro, what are you doing right now? The dragon gasped out. Just spending my points, he said casually. Yeah, but why are you throwing them away like that? Messing up even one stat ruins your build. The dragon was in full-blown panic mode now. Why dump literally everything into one slot? And why pick the worst one possible? Jiu maxed it out and shrugged, saying he did not need the rest yet. You totally ruined your account, Urus cried. What a massive fail. Meanwhile, at the developer studio, a worker sprinted in to warn the boss about a crisis. The boss asked what went down, and the guy said he had to witness it personally since it involved their favorite troublemaker. Walking into the server room, the boss demanded to know what the drama was. The worker just pointed at the screen. The big guy blinked. Oh wow, the club guy actually hit the level cap. The staffer stressed that his level was fine, but his actions were crazy. So, what is the big deal? Which stat got buffed? The boss wondered. The worker showed him the exact screen, leaving the head honcho completely speechless. But the CEO just started cracking up. That is hilarious. Bro is seriously vibing and playing the game his own chaotic way. The stressed worker begged him to take it seriously, saying the account was basically bricked and useless now. Once he finds out his build is garbage, he is going to rage quit so hard. The boss just chilled him out. I keep telling you guys, we developers cannot mess with how people play. The worker kept pushing for a ban or reset, but his boss was already heading out the door. Strolling down the hall, the CEO chuckled. Unbelievable that he maxed out that specific trait while holding the ultimate beginner title. He found it super funny that the devs thought this account was completely ruined forever. Because honestly, the gaming world had just birthed the most cursed, yet insanely overpowered build ever. Meanwhile, our boy finished point dumping with a huge grin. Suddenly, the deity of rolls spawned right in front of him. Awakened one, listen up. This is the final tutorial phase, and you gotta make a massive decision. You get to pick one of my ultimate legendary weapons for yourself. Our guy was hyped. Literal free loot. Never say no to free stuff, right? He spent a hot minute scanning the arsenal because honestly, every item looked straight up god tier. After pausing for like 2 seconds, he made his call. Reaching out, he boldly demanded, I want every single one. The holy NPC just froze, totally glitching out. Then it warned the kid that giving away everything was impossible. Too much greed brings serious punishment, so pick carefully. But bro completely interrupted. So, are you dropping the whole inventory, or do I need to smack you around first? The audience watching this stream is totally shook. Over at the studio, the boss literally drops his smoke in disbelief. He is absolutely stunned, muttering about how unhinged this player is. The NPC stays quiet, but a pop-up confirms the deity is raging hard. The holy face instantly twisted into pure, unfiltered anger. The vibe totally shifts to full aggro as the big boss charges in. Jiu tightens his grip on his stick, basically telling the dude he's practically begging to get wrecked. It is go time. Out of nowhere, a massive shield comes launching right at his face. Our guy tries to block with his staff, but the impact is absolutely insane, slamming him face first into the dirt, while Urus screams for his bro in pure panic. The class boss actually sighs, acting all dramatic about never expecting to personally wipe out a supreme player. He calls it a shame, but boom. A massive energy beam from the stick blasts him right in the face, totally scrambling his features. Still in the dirt, Jiu just casually drops. Wow, that actually stung a bit. Is it cause you are a boss tier entity? His life gauge barely even flinched since he dumped 15,000 points into endurance, making his health pool, regen, and status resistance completely broken. Urus is just standing there mind blown, realizing his buddy is completely unhinged for maxing out just one single category. Dude, you totally messed up. You built an absolute garbage tier character. He screams at him. Jiu is just like, wait, why? His buddy breaks it down, saying every single item in Chrono Life needs a base muscle stat to even equip, no matter your role. Basically, he is completely locked out of using anything besides that wooden stick. The main guy just smirks and says it is all he needs. Right on cue, a glowing pop-up floats right between them. Turns out, a secret ability just unlocked after hitting all the wild requirements. Urus stares at it, asking what in the world it is. This crazy passive turns any incoming hits straight into instant recovery, topping off his health instantly. Trash build, you said? Jiu totally flexes while his friend is left speechless. Meanwhile, the big boss is growling in agony with his features totally wrecked. You worthless little human, how dare you? The boss screams, blasting laser beams straight out of his eyes. Jiu totally tanks the hit without flinching and drops. His bro runs over screaming his name, but our guy just starts cracking up. Man, Chrono Life is an absolute masterpiece. He cheers while his damage literally heals up in seconds. Gross, Urus thinks to himself. The boss yells at him to get wiped, dropping a massive combo, but our boy just eats every single hit. His life bar would dip for like a split second before bouncing right back to 100%. The furious entity just kept spamming attacks in total denial, while Jiu just stood there tanking the damage and chuckling. His life gauge was just a chaotic yo-yo. Finally, he yawned, said he was bored, and decided it was game over. He honestly got some crazy good perks from this boss fight, so it was time for the dude to drop his loot and catch an exit. The fading boss dropped a dramatic warning, claiming the kid's insane loot addiction would totally wreck him one day, basically saying he was heading for a bad ending. But Jiu just readied his strike and told him whatever, bro. He followed up with a sick upward swing that absolutely nailed the boss right in the center. A server message popped up confirming the entity was deleted, while the entire zone started cracking like broken glass. An alert flashed, saying the secret dimension was glitching out and teleporting him straight back to the main map. The pocket universe basically folded in on itself. Cut to the regular Chrono Life server. A flash of light drops Jiu right onto the hilltop. An insane amount of high-tier gear rained down all over the grass around him. It was a massive pile of god-tier loot, and our boy just claimed it all. The items sparkled before zooming straight into his infinite inventory, ready to be summoned. A huge grin locked onto his face, knowing this haul was going to be absolutely legendary. Meanwhile, Sarang was fuming. The absolute nerve of this guy keeping her on standby. She was so ready to cancel him over this. Out of nowhere, she hears a rustle. Jiu does a chill salute, dropping a casual, hey, I survived. She instantly smacked him. Throwing a kick, she raged about him taking until literally nighttime when he promised it would be quick. He instantly started apologizing, claiming he planned a speedrun but got caught up in some crazy side quests. He tried saying at least he showed up, but Sarang just clenched her jaw and yelled that she was out of there. When he asked her where she was heading, she snapped back that she was pulling the plug for the day. He just gave her a chill wave. She gave him one last super angry glare before chilling out. She told him he better be online by 7 p.m. sharp tomorrow night, right after her shift ended, warning him that if he dared to lag again, she would literally delete his character. Watching her character model vanish, he joked about how she was still totally bossy. Urus chimed in, asking what the heck just happened. Jiu got up, mentioning he had to bounce too since it was way past 12 in real life. A prompt popped up asking to quit, and he smashed accept. Back in the real-world VR lobby, he strolled out while the staff gave him the usual thanks for playing script. Our main guy stretched with a huge yawn, hyping himself up over how epic that session was and how insanely fun the game felt. Plus, his brain was already doing the math on how much real cash that god-tier loot could fetch on the market.